I've never seen a diamond in the flesh. I cut my teeth on wedding rings in the movies, and I'm not proud of my address.
We're not just building muscle, we're building men. In the quiet hours, in the unfiltered moments, in the conversations that happen before the world wakes up. This is the Glue-OOM, where brotherhood forms in the dark so we can lead in the light, where vulnerability is strength and leadership is handed from man to man, one story at a time. Our mission is to empower, exhort, and inspire men to achieve their best selves through stories of reinvigorated male community leadership. We bring you weekly interviews with F3 Omaha PACs, ordinary men doing extraordinary things in fitness, fellowship, faith, and leadership, because we believe that every man has a story, and reinvigoration starts when that story is shared. This is the Glue in the Gloom. Shout out to our sponsors, Avior Wealth Management, Liberty Core Real Estate, Major Team Mortgage, Exclusively Eye Care, Omaha Laser Dentistry, and McNamara Law Firm. We appreciate your support. Are you or someone you know in the market to buy a new home? Well, if so, check out Major Team Mortgage. They specialize in home purchase and refinance home loans. Their mission is to purposely empower people to experience their good life through building wealth with real estate. You know, showing up in the gloom is no different than showing up for a conversation around your future of building wealth with real estate. Join the action economy and get in the game with Sasquatch. Text or call John at 402-212-0149 to schedule a time today. Individual NMLS number 1393750. Company NMLS number 2478164. Equal housing lender. Now, let's get back to the gloom. And we're back. Excited for this one. We were just talking before. We've known each other for a long time. I've got my man Flo. I like to call him my cousin-in-law, I think.
Still kind of figuring out what that relationship is or what we call it.
Yeah, it's like a second cousin-in-law. I don't know, but essentially my wife's cousin. And so our history goes back a long time, right? I started dating my wife in 2002, and you would have been how old? Like
12.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. So I was 16 and you would have been 12 or something like that. And it's been really cool to see you just sort of grow and develop and ready to get your story out there.
Yeah, it's been awesome so far. Really excited to be here and talk about it.
Well, so where we like to start is the EH journey. So talk us through that. I think I have a few memories of how this went down, but talk us through that.
So obviously you were the one that EH'd me. We had moved away from Omaha for a number of years, just following my career a little bit. Yep. Spent some time in Maryland and spent a long time down in Kansas City and had a job opportunity come up to come back here. So that was a little over 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And started going to the same church as you guys. We ended up in a small group with you guys and Grills as well, which I didn't know he was Grills at that point in time. But you'd kind of just started, you didn't hard sell me on anything. You were just kind of planting a seed a little bit. And I think there was one night we were at Bible study and you told me, you're like, hey, you should really try this out.
Yeah.
I knew nothing about it really. And all I knew was that I was probably not in good enough shape for whatever it was that you were doing.
Yeah.
So, but I had been starting to go to the gym and trying to work on the fitness side of things a little bit. So, that planted the seed a little bit. And then I was actually at the Gretna YMCA the following Tuesday morning because that's where I was working out before F3. And I look over and I see what had to be an F3 workout. It was the Village.
Yep.
And of course I didn't just walk over and show up because I would have been late and that would have been weird.
Right.
Looking back, I could have just walked over and shown up and it would have been great. But told myself, okay, next week I'll go. I didn't even tell you that I was going.
We were out of town. I remember getting a text or something.
And I So I showed up at the Village the following week. Enterprise was on the queue. People were asking me how I heard about it. And I was saying, well, I know Brandon, and everyone's kind of asking, looking on PaxNet probably and trying to figure out who Brandon is. And they're, oh, Plague. Okay.
Yeah.
So I remember the workout being very difficult for my current level of fitness.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was actually hard or if I was just out of shape, but I loved it. It was super sore the next day, so I didn't come back and post the next day. But I think I went to the maze on the following Thursday as my second workout, and really from there just didn't stop. So that's how I got into it.
How'd you get the name Flow?
It doesn't make a lot of sense. People think I do insurance because of the name, but really it was my first name is Jake. So when I said that, somebody threw out Jake from State Farm. And that started everybody on the whole insurance loop. I was almost Mayhem, which would have been really cool.
That would have been better,
but ended up with Flow, and I've come to love it. It wasn't something I was upset about or anything. I mean, there are certainly worse names in F3 than that. So,
well, this is why you should have told me you were going, and then I could have tried to.
You could have helped a little bit.
Probably not.
And I gave them nothing to work with. I mean, I don't even remember what I said, but it was not anything. It's like, well, I go to work and I have a family, and that was the extent of the information that they had to go off of. So I can't blame them too much.
Oh, I love it. It's so funny. I remember getting the text, and I remember you being like, I went to a workout and it was awesome. And I just remember like, oh man, I wish I could have been there, but I feel like we were out of town, or I don't know what we were doing, but
well, I just didn't tell you. I mean, I don't know if you were in town or not. I think it was I didn't want to fully commit yet. So I was like, I'm going to
see what happens.
Go and check this out, make sure I can get up on time and all that stuff. So,
well, I know a little bit about your sort of background from a sort of like a physical activity standpoint, right? So you played a lot of hockey growing up. I mean, obviously that's a really difficult sport, but what's been sort of your journey or kind of that relationship with exercise or physical fitness?
So hockey was my main sport growing up. Played from the time I was 4 until graduated high school. It's not really a sport that's easy to just go out and play a pickup game. So I fell away from that a little bit. Didn't do a whole lot of exercise or anything other than intramural sports in college. But towards the end of my time in college, I actually ended up starting to run a little bit. Ran a couple half marathons, and realized that I actually liked running, which I didn't know before that. And then as I was early in my career, I mean, when I lived out in Maryland for a year, and we signed up for a gym membership, and I think I went twice. So that was a really expensive 2 trips to the gym. Just busy with work, not making it a priority, that kind of thing. Eventually, once we started having kids, I got a little more into working out, but it wasn't very consistent. The consistency just wasn't there. I would sign up for a half marathon and run a ton for the 3 months leading up to it, and then not do anything for 6 months. Kind of in and out, and wanted to do something. I always felt better when I was, but just didn't have that push. So
now hockey, you were like really good at hockey, right? Like to the point where you lived somewhere else during high school, right? And played.
I lived in Colorado for a couple of years. I wouldn't say really good, but I did, play at a decently high level. Would have been, call it the level below, like Omaha Lancers or like people that I played with went on to play for those teams. I did not, because not that good. But it was a great experience, but it was very all consuming. It was, we were working out every day. We were having practice every day. It was a rigorous schedule on top of school and all of that. And so that was really a big commitment for me. And looking back, I think that's where my work ethic and competitive spirit and that kind of thing really was developed.
And I don't remember so you were in Colorado for a couple of years, played there, and then just decided I'm not going to do this anymore and go, or what was you didn't get injured or anything?
No,
I don't know.
I was back here for my senior year. It was kind of that inflection point where it was, I think going into the previous year, my dad said, this is the last year I'm paying for your hockey. So you better either make a team that you don't have to pay to play on, or we're going to reevaluate. And by the end of that year, I think looking back, I kind of wish I would have tried a little more to pursue that. But I was just really burnt out by the end. And it was like, I kind of just want to be a high school kid and, get to go to homecoming, get to go to prom, get to do that kind of stuff, because we were gone every weekend. And I mean, everything worked out the way it was supposed to. So
heck yeah.
I
love it. I feel the same way with baseball. I feel like you just, it's something to think about with kids. And I know your son Freddie was a hockey player, and we were kind of talking about, will you have him do it? And it's one of those things where you're like, I don't know how serious you want to be,
Right.
Yeah. What as you think about, so you've gotten into F3, you feel like you've got a more consistent fitness routine. Have you met some of your goals there?
I started out, I was probably posting too much at the beginning. It was like I wanted to be out there. And I've dropped 25 pounds since I started. In much better shape. I would have been almost exactly a year ago, ran my first half marathon since being in F3, and I dropped, I think, 8 minutes off of my halftime, which is crazy.
That's hard to do. Yeah.
I've got another one coming up this weekend, so we'll see if I can match that. I'm still not sure how that happened, but
do you like to do the Good Life Halfsy and some of those?
Yeah.
Or do you do Halfway House or?
I have not done a half at Halfway House yet.
Okay.
I've done the 10K a couple times. I would like to get into that a little more. I think that's probably the next thing I get into. Sunday mornings are a little tough, but I do think that would be fun. One of the things that I want to make sure that I do after this half, because I've been training for it, is to actually maintain that training and not just fall off. Because that's what I've done in the past.
That's what happens. Yeah. Well, and I would be curious, as you're thinking about sort of overall fitness, right? I don't know if you have you kind of found is running kind of your sweet spot, or do you like the coupon sites, or I guess over where you live, you have the quarry, and so but where have you kind of found that rhythm?
Sure. I like running a lot. I like the standard beat down.
Yeah.
I very much don't like coupons or weighted workouts.
Yeah, but you still go.
I will do them.
Yeah.
But I don't like them.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is. I liked lifting weights just in the gym, but for whatever reason, I hear coupons at a workout and I'm oh man.
Yeah.
But I would say I think I've really come to appreciate the whole, body weight and all that you can do with just your body. You can show up at a park and do so many different things. And I think I really like that.
Yeah. I noticed the practicality of it. It seems like if I can use my body weight, then I'm more just nimble and flexible for whatever the kids need to do. I've noticed as I lift more weightlifting, there is a certain point where you're sort of do I need big muscles to be able to play with my kids? Probably not. And so the body weight thing is pretty appealing, I think, from a longevity.
Right. And it's do you want to look strong or do you want to be strong?
Right.
And I I think I'm not too worried about looking strong, but I do want to be able to grab the kids and throw them up over my head and do all that kind of stuff.
Heck yeah, I love it. I would be curious, as you think about kind of some other things about, so you loved the first workout. Um, what do you think it was that sort of drew you to it? Just kind of the combo of things, or what? That
I think it was the group. Like we talked about, I grew up playing team sports. That is sorely lacking in my life nowadays. Or was before I started doing F3, and where you can go through something with other people and have that bond that was terrible, but we got through it. And I mean, I think back to my first summer, my first Murph challenge. I was with S'mores and Speed Square quite a bit, hammering out Murphs, and it wasn't very much fun a lot of the time. But at the end of it, we look back and it's like, hey, we all made it.
Yeah, for sure.
That was really cool. I think that was a big part of it. And just I think the ability to feel like I can show up and everybody's there for the same reason. We all got up at a terrible time of day and got out there to
decided to
put some work in.
Yeah. And the other question we got to figure out, we got to figure out how to get your dad and your brother out, right? I don't know if
someday, maybe.
I don't know.
I know Khakis has been working on my dad for years now.
Yeah. Every time we see him at family stuff, he'll say, "You still working out? You still doing that F3 thing? Don't get out there." I feel like your brother should come out, right?
He should. Yes, absolutely.
He would love it. What as you think about fellowship, I guess, and kind of hearing your story a little bit more fresh in my mind, I'm thinking, so you didn't live here for like 3 out of 4 years of high school, and then you went to college down in Lincoln, went to Maryland, KC, and then here. So when you think about like building relationships, did you have a lot of friends in town, or?
I am not very good at staying in touch with people.
That
is something that I really, really struggle with. So I mean, I had some good friends in high school. A lot of them no longer live here. Those I came back, but they're gone anyways. So, but the other thing is, if I'm not seeing people consistently, I'm not good at reaching out and maintaining that relationship. And so that's something that was probably really lacking in my life, was genuine friendships with men, not just work relationships or buddies that I'll talk to at work, and then we go our separate ways at 5 o'clock and
see him the next day.
See him the next day. And that's something I think I was really missing. I remember vividly, there was one time my wife and I were having some sort of disagreement. I don't even remember what it was about. I had probably done something stupid. And she said to me, "What do you think another guy would say if you told him that?" I was like, well, probably nothing good. Probably wouldn't be recommended. But that also, kind of made me think about, well, who would I have told that to? I don't have somebody in my life that I would have that kind of a relationship with.
Right.
So I think that was a really big missing piece, and more so even than, me figuring out I like running or I like beat downs. What has drawn me to F3, even though I didn't know that's what I was getting myself into.
Yeah. Well, talk us through. So, because you're also, I mean, you guys are busy, right? I mean, you've got 4 kids, but talk us through. I would love to hear kind of how long you've been married, and I forget your story of how you and Janie met, but then talk us through the
Sure.
kiddos.
So we met. I was in school down in Lincoln. She was working down in Lincoln. And then we just kind of met and dated for the last year and a half or 2 years. I was in college. I was in college for 6 years. So didn't come out with a doctorate or anything, but I do like to say I have half an engineering degree.
Right.
Doesn't count for anything, but so we started dating. I ended up getting a job in Omaha, straight out of college, and we got engaged. And then I found out I was moving to Maryland. So she come with? Does she stay here? What's the plan? We're supposed to be getting married in a year. So she came out to Maryland with me. And then shortly after, we came back here to get married, and then went back to Maryland, packed everything up, and moved to Kansas City.
Yeah.
So, and that's where I think we were married for a little over a year before we had our first. And then, every 2.5 to 2 years after that, another one came along. So we were down there for 3 of the 4, and then back up here for our most recent edition. So, that's.
You've brought the girls. So you got two girls, right?
Girls.
And then 2 boys.
And 2 boys. Yeah. We have 7 and 4-year-olds are the girls, and then a 2-year-old and a almost 9-month-old boy. So the girls are Spindle is the 7-year-old, and Saber is
nice.
The 4-year-old. So
so Spindle has got to be like a princess, like Aurora.
So her name's Aurora.
Yeah.
Princess Aurora from Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah. Pricked
her finger on the spindle of a spinning wheel, and that's how she fell asleep. I think that was a Tonight Show name.
That's actually not a bad name.
It was an awesome name.
Yeah, that's good.
It was perfect. And then Saber, I made an executive decision on that one, but she's actually, her name's Mariner, and she's named after a woman named Rosemary Mariner.
Okay.
She was I think she was the first Navy fighter pilot that was a woman.
Oh, wow.
And her call sign was Saber.
Okay.
So her
yeah.
And I was like, that's perfect.
Gotta be. Yeah. Oh, I love it. It's so much fun. What do they think of F3?
They think it's awesome.
Yeah.
They love crab cakes, pumpkin beatdown.
Oh, yeah.
Look forward to it every year.
Yeah.
Maybe not so excited about the other 2.0 workouts that they've been to. But they will tolerate them because they know that eventually they'll get pumpkins.
Right. And there's normally donuts, right? Or something.
Yeah. And I've started taking them to McDonald's for breakfast afterwards.
Oh, nice.
That's kind of a
little treat.
They don't get to go to McDonald's ever. So
give them something special to associate. I need to try that. I think Georgia's probably ready to go, especially if your girls would be there. But it's so cool because I think as I watch you guys kind of navigating this, right, just leaning into community, right, so at church, but where do you think, as you have gotten to know some of these guys in F3, because I also don't know that you're always able to stay for coffee.
Right.
So how have you kind of figured out how to build relationships?
It's kind of happened naturally.
Yeah,
like it just has, and I do try to go to coffee as much as I can, as much as the schedule allows. And I've also been, late for me to work a few times. If I have early meetings, I can't do it, but I also can, once a week or twice a week, I can
be a little
stick
flexible.
around and be flexible. But I don't know. I think reruns are huge. That's a good time to talk and get to know people. And just the mumble chatter during the beatdowns, depending on how intense the beatdown is. I feel like I've gotten to know, I know way more people now than I ever thought I would.
Yep.
And just staying in touch with you, being willing to send a text or respond to a text or something like that. I still, like I said, I still don't do a great job of initiating those conversations, but I do appreciate very much the folks in F3 that do.
That reach out. Yeah.
And it's something I need to get better at too.
Yeah. It is cool because I think there's so many different ways, and I forget who, I was actually Bounty that we had just interviewed, and we were talking about the mission of F3, right, is really focused on small workout groups. And if you have smaller workout groups, then you get more fellowship during the workout itself. And so then you don't necessarily need all these other things, but it also sounds like too, like your Murph challenge and pre-running and some of that.
Yeah. And we've got actually just got the invitation today to the Gretna F3. I think it's a WhatsApp group. So now I've heard we can get out of the group text and into something
I'm too
else.
far north to be considered Gretna.
Yeah, sorry, didn't get the invite, but but we've got a really good group out there. And they really pulled together for me when I was going through some, had a pretty challenging past winter, just some crazy work stuff going on. And on top of that, we had our 4th child.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, I was psych Q and having to, well, I didn't really do anything. They helped me, said, hey, we'll take care of it. I even, at one point, it had snowed a whole bunch and I came outside and my driveway was clear.
Oh, wow.
Still have no idea who did that.
That's awesome.
Thank you to whoever that was.
Yeah. Assume it's an F3 guy, right?
I would assume it was an F3 guy. I don't know who else would just randomly come and show up and clear out my driveway, but that was, we had just had, I think we had just gotten back from the hospital and we also had a NICU stay on top of that, got sick shortly after coming home and had to go back. And fortunately it was only for a weekend, but still that's a pretty, there was a lot going on at that time.
Yeah.
And, people send food and all that kind of stuff. It really feel the support of the group.
I love it. I think too, normally I would ask, from your perspective, how has it impacted other relationships? But I'll just speak, from my perspective, it's been cool to just, I knew you when you were a young kid, right? And so then getting to know you now as a man and just watching you lead your family and be a part of this group leading other men, it's just been really cool, I think, for our relationship too, even though I don't know that we talk about it much, but just to kind of be able to see you as a good father and husband and really like trying to do a lot of the same things I'm doing, so that's been really cool from my perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you mentioned it before, it's awesome how much fun our kids have together.
Yes.
And, getting to go do stuff together and how we've got this, kind of common bond. And that's been really cool to, been one of the best things about coming back to this area is getting to, have those relationships with family that, previously we'd see it 3 or 4 times a year. And now we're seeing you guys quite a bit.
So. I was going to ask you, so when we were at your house for Halloween, because that's a new tradition, right? We don't have neighbors, so we go trick-or-treating with you guys in your neighborhood, but and the girls just love it, right? They always are like coordinating costumes. And but Janie made a comment that she seemed to enjoy the F3 trunk or treat. So I have to ask, like, how does she feel about? Does she think it's a good thing for you, or is there a balance there?
She thinks it's exactly what I need.
That's awesome.
We've had our struggles in our relationship where either I'm not in a good place or she's not in a good place, and trying to and so anything that we can do to make ourselves stronger and, make me a better leader, make me a better, I don't know the word for it, but just support in our relationship, that is absolutely crucial. And I think she's seen a change in me and just my willingness to, because I think I used to be pretty passive as far as, not really taking that leadership role in the family. And it's like, oh, well, honey, what do you want to do?
Right.
What do you think? When really she wants to be led.
Yeah.
She wants that security of, I'm going to take care of the family. And I wasn't providing that, but I think through F3 and through being around other men and, knowing that, hey, if I talk to her this way that I don't, that I probably shouldn't, or if I'm being selfish or something like that, do I really want to show up in the morning and talk to the guys about that? Probably not. So some accountability there from that standpoint, and just getting to see a good example on a daily basis. It's changed everything. That's great.
Cool. I love it. I love it. I think also too, because I know something that's been a central part of your life is your faith. And so I kind of know the backstory, but talk us through a little bit, sort of what was life like growing up from a faith perspective, and then would love to hear kind of how that has molded to where you're at today.
Yeah, and it's been a wild ride. Yeah, that's for sure. I grew up going to church. I was actually baptized at the church that we currently go to.
Yeah, St. Mark. Yeah,
had a few detours along the way. Through high school, I did the youth group stuff sometimes, but I was always gone for hockey, and didn't really get too into that. But when I was there, I would go. Definitely believed in God. Definitely, I definitely got the intellectual education on God and on faith and that kind of thing. But it wasn't until I really hit some challenges in life that faith went to what I'll call a real level, where it wasn't just, oh yes, you ask me if I believe in God, I say yes.
Right.
So when I was in college, I developed a pretty serious alcohol problem. And it was pretty easy to try to hand wave it away, just like college kid being a college kid, but that's not what it was at all. It was very much I wasn't going out and partying. I was like, I'm going to sit in my room and I'm going to drink.
Like by yourself, kind of
by
thing.
myself, in the dark, very, very depressing. Scene. And I don't know why that happened. I mean, my background, my family. There's a lot of people that I've met through the years that's like, man, you went through some tough stuff growing up. I can understand why you would turn to this as an escape. I don't really have that.
Right. Yeah.
Other than it just is the way that I am.
Yeah. Did you party much in high school, or
no,
was it, so then you got
really
to college and maybe that was like the first exposure to?
It wasn't. I mean, it certainly wasn't the first exposure, but it was. And even when I was in college, I didn't really. I wasn't all that interested. I wanted to go to parties and hang out. It wasn't the drinking that was. But I do vividly remember the first time drank and I felt better. Like my fears went away. I felt comfortable. I felt okay.
Yeah.
I can remember it like it was yesterday. And at the same time, there was also that fear, like, this feels pretty good.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And I chased that for a while. Fortunately, I had people in my life that weren't going to allow me to go down that road too far without saying, you can do that, but we're not going to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And I'm also a people pleaser.
Yeah.
Don't want to disappoint anybody. And so, after, I don't know, probably a year and a half of progressively getting worse and worse and worse, I got to a spot where I was just I was done.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had always thought in the back of my head that I could stop whenever I wanted.
Yeah. Yeah. That's sort of one of the
And
lies that, yeah.
and then I actually tried to stop.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I remember sitting in the parking lot of the liquor store with my hands on the steering wheel and tears streaming down my face.
Mhm.
Like, I don't want to do this.
Right.
But I did.
Mm-hmm.
And I finally got to a place where it was like, I don't have the answers anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to do anything to make this stop.
Yeah.
And, got involved with some people that had been there before. They told me some things to do, and I actually listened. And I had a pretty profound experience, for lack of a better word. I was maybe 4 days sober. I had done some things that were suggested of me, and I was sitting in my room by myself, and I felt a weight lifted off my shoulders.
Mm.
And along with that was the desire to drink. And that was 13 years ago almost, and it hasn't come back. I know that wasn't me.
Mm-hmm.
And to bring that into the faith component, I found a relationship with God
Mm-hmm.
through that, and reliance upon God rather than me trying to do it myself.
Yeah.
So that's changed my life.
Yeah.
And I can't explain it.
Hey, are you the type of guy that likes to get up early in the winter to battle your jester? Do you love listening to people drone on and on and on about COVID in the gloom? Would you trust your vision to a guy nicknamed Cataracts? Well, if the answer to any of these questions is yes, fellas, you have bigger problems than you think. Dr. Cataracts, aka Dr. Wolf, can't solve all of your problems, but he can certainly help you solve the problems related to your eye health and vision. You will find many F3 principles throughout his practice. Check him out today at Exclusively Eye Care. It's so cool, and I love the just the imagery, right, of just that story. And for guys that have been there, like myself or other guys, I mean, it's hard to explain those moments, but I almost just get chills because I think it's this irony of like we want so bad this thing, but the only and so then we think like we got to try more or do more, but the only way we can actually receive what God's trying to give us is when we get to the end of ourselves, right? And like totally surrender.
Right.
And I don't know about you, but I think for me, I don't know if I think just kind of a control freak type A, person. And I love how you said that like, I always thought that I could control it. Right. So I never thought like, this isn't a problem. I'll just quit when I want to quit.
Right.
But I would be curious, as over the years, have you dissected like the sort of now that the symptom or the alcohol is gone, what's sort of the underlying thing that you've been working through?
I think a lot of it was self-reliance. It was if I can't do this myself,
right,
it's not, how can it get done? That fear of not being good enough, of not being able to be the person that I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what I've come to realize is it's relinquishing that control and trusting that God's going to take care of me.
Yeah.
And through letting that go, I get a freedom to just show up and do what I'm supposed to do. And really it's aligning my will with God's will. Like God's plan is going to happen regardless of what I do.
Yeah.
So I better get on board.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's going to be a very painful time.
Yeah.
But trusting that God's plan is better than any plan that I could come up with.
Yeah. 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 And that's ultimately, right, the lie of Satan, right, is that like God's withholding something, or maybe even that like I used to believe like I had really good ideas, right?
Yeah.
So, but that's now a trigger, right? I know if I'm having one of those days where I'm frustrated because people aren't listening to my ideas,
Yes.
that's normally a sign that I need to, get in the word. But
Right.
did you go to AA or did you go to treatment or what was your process?
I was part of 12-step.
Okay.
That process.
Yeah.
And it was pretty active in that for a number of
Mhm.
years.
Yeah.
Less so recently, but
Yeah.
yeah, that was, that's saved my life.
Yeah. Do you find, because I know for me, like I went to NA for a while and then with the pandemic, it got weird. And then I haven't gone back. Right.
Mhm.
But I do find, and I guess in Free to Lead, right, it kind of mentions this, but there's a lot of similarities,
Absolutely.
right? I don't know if you find some of that too.
Yeah, sure. There's a lot of parallels. It's the accountability. It's the not keeping everything inside, having
Mhm.
somebody to share the things with that you wouldn't just share with anybody.
Mhm.
You and I having a conversation, we can talk about things that I'm not going to talk to my coworkers about. I'm not
Right.
going to,
Yeah.
um, and I think there's a lot of power in that. And there's also a lot of power in understanding that you're not alone. You're not the
Mhm.
only one that's going through what you're going through. And people have been through it before and have come out the other side.
Mhm.
So I think there's a lot of similarities there.
Yeah. How has that funneled? Because now, and this is, I think God's got a sense of humor, right? Because now you've got 4 kids, just like, I always tell people we're just like this little ball of chaos going everywhere, right? But you've
Yep.
got, 4 kids, but your kids they're so well behaved, like they're at least when I see them.
Sometimes,
But
yes.
how does all of that sort of impact now as a father of 4 and also trying to keep your marriage going? How have you kind of channeled that into that?
I think it really is. If God's at the center of our family, we're
Mhm.
gonna be okay.
Yeah.
And if he's not, then we're in trouble.
Yeah.
Um, I have I've learned a lot and still have a lot to learn about being a father, being especially a father of 4. I mean, my wife, she's amazing when it comes to that. And I've been able to learn so much from
Yeah.
her, but I also have that measuring stick of I see how
Mhm.
far away from that I am,
Yeah.
which is, that's okay. I
Yeah.
don't have to be perfect at it. But it's something I do want to continue to improve
Yeah.
at. The logical part of me doesn't understand like, why are we making this so difficult right
Right.
now?
Yeah.
It could be so easy
Yep.
if you would just listen to me.
Right. Yep.
But it's not how kids work.
Yeah.
So
Well, and it's interesting because the self-reliance, I can identify with that too. And I think so then I'm sort of like in a hurry to teach my kids to be self-reliant and independent. And then I find myself saying things like, you can do that on your own. You don't need, and some of that's good, but then like on some
right.
level,
Don't want
yeah.
to take it too far.
Yeah. I would be curious too, so, and I love, so I'm 7 years clean, right? You're 13 years sober. How do you keep that? And I'll use the term fresh, but that's not really
Mhm.
but how do you keep that at the forefront? Like what's been your kind of process for that to make sure that you're not forgetting?
Honestly, for me, it has been, since that day,
Mm-hmm.
the thought doesn't cross my mind.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I have to consciously not do something.
Right.
And that's, I mean,
What a blessing.
it's a
Yeah.
huge blessing, and that can't come from anywhere else.
Yeah.
But I think so long as I am continuing to pursue a relationship with God,
Mm-hmm.
that's been my experience thus far. As long as I'm pursuing that relationship, I don't have to worry about it. It's not an impediment to me.
Yeah.
Um, it's not a thought, which is a miracle. And a huge, like you said, a huge blessing.
Yeah, I love it. It's so cool, and hopefully, as guys are listening, right, there's so much hope, and like we're just two of the many guys, right? I do find it interesting the number of guys in F3 that have been through similar things. And like you said, like, this is the other thing when it comes to parenting. Like when I look back, like your family, you come from this long line of like just really faithful, like great people, which should tell us that there is no perfect way to parent and control what your kids do. Like,
Right.
I think, but I don't know. It's interesting. And when you think about sort of like parenting and maybe even like leadership, I guess I would be curious your thoughts, because you're in a leadership role at work. You've been in leadership roles at large companies. When you think about like F3 and some of the, I don't know, leadership skills or opportunities, what's been your, like, where have you seen maybe the most growth or impact?
I think for me, a lot of it is confidence.
Mm-hmm.
It's understanding, get a little bit of the imposter syndrome. Like, wait, you guys are asking me for what I think we should do. This seems bad. Clearly you don't know me well enough, if that's the, but the confidence to take on that leadership role and understand that I can have a positive impact on not only my company, but the people that work for me.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I take a lot of pride in, is I want my team and my employees to think that I'm, that not that I don't want the best boss in the world mug or whatever from the office, but I want them to look back on their time with me and say, yeah, he positively impacted my life. He put me into a position where I can take this next step in my career, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
And that component of it, that mentorship and leadership component, is, I think, what's most fulfilling for me. And by leaning into that, I've seen really positive results outside of just, okay, my team's doing a job. We're, as a company, being more successful because of the mentorship that I've been able to provide, this team that I've been able to build.
That's cool. It's interesting because sometimes I think of like, okay, so I want to mentor people, so I need to teach them how to surrender, basically.
Yeah.
Which is like what's been your strategy? Like, what do you, when you're coaching or mentoring people, how do you do that?
That's a really good question. I don't know. I think a lot of it is demonstrating humility and the willingness to not always have the answer.
Yeah.
It's better to say I don't know than to make something up in most cases. And I learned that lesson the hard way many times early in my career.
Yeah.
But I think by showing them that, hey, I'm wrong sometimes, I don't have the answer sometimes, I have to ask for help sometimes, that encourages them that, hey, if he has to ask for help sometimes, he has to ask me for help sometimes, I can certainly go ask him for help.
Yeah.
And I think that that's probably the biggest piece of that, just not having to control everything.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's interesting how sometimes we overcomplicate it, right? And and put like a program but just being able to demonstrate, and those things should be really easy, but for whatever reason, our ego or whatever gets in the way, right? Like I want to look like the leader, and so I have to know everything. And so I love that you're modeling that humility there. I also think too, the way you lead and parent your kids, from my perspective, although it's like hard at these ages, like I think you guys do a phenomenal job of like disciplining and really providing not just don't do that, but sort of rationale and explaining in the way that the kids understand. And I love, it's funny, like we've got this book at our house, and I forget the story, but it was a gift that you guys gave to our youngest daughter, and it's your whole family reading through this story that's like on the night you were born, or it's like one of those really cool stories. And just to think of just the, teaching your kids the importance of family time and scripture and all of that.
Yeah.
Cool to watch.
Yeah. And that is, it's a huge part of our lives. we kind of fell into it, but at least with the girls, the 2-year-old's not quite ready for it yet. But with the girls, we read the Bible before bed every night.
Yeah. And they love it.
They don't always love it.
Yeah.
We started, it's the real Bible. It's not,
Oh, it's not the kid Bible.
It's not kid Bible story. It's like we read through the Bible, and sometimes it's a whole list of names that I have to try to figure out how to pronounce. Yeah. And they look at me afterwards and say, "Why did we read that?" Yep. I say, "I don't know, but it's in there."
Oh, I love it. I'm sure Pastor Jay would have a rationale. Right?
I'm sure he would.
It's some lineage, right? It's some. This is trying to show us that Jesus is truly related to all these people, right? I would be curious when you think about the leadership piece. I love that you called out confidence, because I do think that's so much of it. But talk me through, like, do you remember your VQ or being a site
So I was really fortunate. I have to thank Mr. Miyagi, because now I know he was just trying to get rid of the Dragon's Lair flag. But at the time, I'd maybe been coming out for 2 weeks, and he said, "Hey, you're going to VQ at Dragon's Lair on this date."
Okay.
I said, "All right, I'll do it." I put a lot of effort into that first cue, wrote everything out, actually went and was going to go through the workout, and realized that at least the first revision only had 22 minutes worth of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Which was good to know.
Yeah.
So revised, made it a little longer, did a few more things.
Yeah, because that's an hour-long workout.
Yes, it's an hour long. And I didn't realize that until I was going to cue it for the first time. But came out, and I mean, it was fine. I stole from the 2 weeks worth of beat downs that I'd been to before that, and I was able to do that. And it's amazing now. I hardly prepare at all before I cue. It's just like I know I'm going to do this and this and this, and it comes so easy. But that first one was hard.
Yeah. Now, did Miyagi, how soon after that VQ did he ask you about taking the flag?
It couldn't have been more than like a week after that. Yeah. Because I took the flag in July, and I started in March. So it wasn't, there wasn't a whole lot of time in there. Yeah. And we knew I was taking the flag for at least a month before I actually did it. Yeah. So, he was, I think, eager to find somebody that was excited about it. And I mean, you can literally see my house from Dragon's Lair. So it was the perfect spot. And I love that site. I have been back a couple times since I passed the flag a few weeks ago. And so I'm not trying to be one of those site cues that just disappears and never goes back.
Yeah. Well, talk me through the succession planning, because I know there was kind of some interesting things that went on there.
Yeah, it was, first of all, I didn't realize how early people started planning for the flag path. Yeah, as soon as I was really looking for somebody, it was they just passed the flag at this site, and you've already got the next one lined up. But I had kind of been planning on around 6 months, start to keep an eye out, and that just so happened to hit right about when we were having our baby. And so I was kind of out for a while, and I come back, and all the people who I had in my mental list that I never had actually talked to, it's like, oh, they took that flag, or they took that flag, and they're all gone. And then it was trying to figure out, where does it go? And because it is, it's a tough site. It's a weekend site. It's, attendance is up and down. It's been good lately. But just with people having, kids in sports or out of town or all that kind of stuff, it was tough to find. I was looking for that perfect person. And, turns out my idea of a perfect person is not the perfect person, because they don't exist. But, so had plans to pass it, and those plans kind of fell through. And things come up and the person who was going to take it couldn't take it anymore. And then it was really like, okay, I've had it for 14 months now. I probably need to really get on this. And that's where, I had to thank Catch Up and all those guys in the Southwest. We actually called a coffee meeting to talk about specifically who was going to take over Dragon's Lair.
Yep.
Fortunately or unfortunately for Mismatch, he was getting a ride from somebody that was going to the coffee meeting. So he showed up and he was the only person there who hadn't had a flag yet.
Oh, nice.
And, kind of turned and looked at him and
like, hey,
gave him a shrug and said, well, will you do it? And, said he had to talk to the wife and figure out. And, it's definitely a sacrifice for him because Saturday was kind of his, his day to work out on his own, that kind of thing. And so I really appreciate him stepping up and being willing to lead that site. And he's going to do great. Once he's actually able to be there for the beatdown.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Yeah.
That was, and we knew that going in. And he said, we could just wait until after to pass the flag. And I said, nope, we're going to pass the flag and I will fill in.
Yeah. Nice.
But yeah, and that's been great. I didn't know him all that well before we started, into that transition period. And it's been awesome to get to know him. He's
a newer guy, right? But,
yeah, I think he'd come out to some halfway houses and things like that.
Okay.
Previously. So I think his join date in PaxNet is like 2022, but it was really just the halfway house and that kind of thing. And then they moved out to the Gretna area. And he started posting at June and, kind of has grown from there.
Saturday sites are so interesting because I started on a Saturday at Oracle and it was this 7 a.m. workout. And so it used to be like Saturday, 7 a.m. was kind of how you got your buddy, who maybe was still going out partying and you wanted to offer him like 7 a.m. is certainly not an early
ease into it a little bit. Yeah.
But then I think as we've expanded, we've done the 6 a.m. Saturday. And it's interesting because you almost just watch the age of guys' kids sort of change, and then that sort of shifts what you're able to do on a Saturday morning, and so then for whatever reason, Saturday sites, I know it's a day I don't really get to post much, but I think it's certainly good to have those Saturday options available. But.
Well, and it's I wasn't consciously thinking of this when I took the Dragon's Lair flag, but that is such a good start to my weekend.
Yeah.
And, people ask the question, are you going to still go to Dragon's Lair?
Yeah.
And I absolutely will, because I can't imagine starting my weekend any other way.
Yeah.
Because it's like it sets me up for, all right, I'm up, I've accomplished something in the summer. I mean, my routine was wake up, pre-run at Dragon's Lair, do the beatdown, go home, mow the yard.
Yeah.
And by 10 o'clock, I've done
you've burned 3,000 calories.
Yeah. And
you can eat those pancakes with the kids. Right?
Well, and I'm ready for that afternoon nap.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Sneak in there. But I think it makes me more productive on the weekend and have more energy for the kids, so that time that we spend together is, it's not just me being grumpy because I'm having to go do things around the house or whatever. I can actually accomplish some things and have time to spend with them.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, it's so cool. Hopefully guys are able to get out and check out all the different sites, but Dragon's Lair is a really cool spot too. Tell me, as you're thinking about, and this could be leadership or life, whatever, but would just love any advice for guys as they're sort of trying to navigate. Maybe it's a guy who's a site Q or new to F3 or new to parenting, but just would love to hear kind of some insight or wisdom from your experience.
I think my insight is that I don't have insight, but there are people that I can talk to that do. So building those relationships and maintaining those relationships, like I said, I'm really bad at. that's something that I think focusing on that and being willing to be open, being willing to talk about the hard things,
Yeah.
um, and being willing to have honest conversations with people, I think is so important.
Mm.
And then beyond that, it's the idea that I don't have to be the one that's responsible for everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
I need to place my reliance where it should be, and that's with God.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm trying to do it all myself, I'm going to mess it all up.
Right.
But if I am faithful and I'm trusting and I'm seeking that relationship, everything else will fall into place
Mm-hmm.
the way that it's supposed to. That's something that I would have said at the time. Some of the darkest days of my life were towards the end of when I was drinking.
Mm-hmm.
But if not for those days, certainly wouldn't have met my wife, wouldn't have the kids, wouldn't be where I am right now.
Yeah.
Like from that terrible place came all of this good. Which one reminds me that if it's not going the way that I planned it, that's okay. Because I certainly wouldn't have planned that. But two, it gives me the reassurance that no matter what I'm going through, it's going to turn out okay. And we've gone through some hard things.
Yeah.
Since that time, we've gone through some really hard things, but understanding that my plan isn't what's important.
Yeah.
And trusting that God's going to take care of me, whatever that looks like. That really makes me feel like I'm, like I can be okay no matter what the circumstances are.
Yeah. I love it. And it's so cool. I mean, I think, whenever you guys come over, Lauren and I are always like, man, we just love those guys. And I think a lot of it is just you're consistent, and you're faithful, and you're reliable, and just not trying to be this like boisterous, loud voice or person, right? You're doing what you know is right. You're letting God be the leader and guide it all, and doing the best that you can, but also at the same time knowing like it's not going to be easy. And I think it just, right. I see that, and we just love, it's so cool when you have family or even friends that can come around and your kids can look up to and know them as like other stable people. Right.
Yes.
And, I think just, yes, I love it. And it's so cool to see, I feel for whatever reason, I have this memory of, I think I've maybe first met you like in Colorado, but I just remember you being this little scrawny little guy with a hockey helmet on, and to see who you've become and the way you're parenting and leading your kids and your family is just, it's super cool. So just thank you for that. Thank you for being such a good example.
Same to you. I mean, we've both gone through quite an interesting path to get from there to here, but it's been really cool to get to build that relationship further.
Heck yeah. Where we'd like to kind of land the plane or wrap up is just when you think about current state, where do you need prayers, encouragement? When guys see out there, what should they be asking you about or checking in?
I really do think it is, how can I be a better father and leader in my family, and just prayers for that, and prayers that I can not try to run that show, and let it happen the way it's supposed to, and be a good and faithful husband and father to my family.
We I love that prayer request, and it reminds me of we're doing this Tuesday morning book study, reading Wild at Heart. Long story short, we were on the conversation of like Ephesians 5, right, where it talks about wives submit to your husbands. And that statement gets kind of a bad rap, especially if you don't read the rest of it.
Right.
that talks about husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. And so this idea that in order to do these things that God's calling us to do, we've got to start from a place of surrender. And that's really kind of the catalyst for all these other pieces. So I love that. Just that we
sacrifice too. That's also, that's a huge thing. I'm dying for you.
Yeah.
I'm dying to myself for you. That's what I'm called to do as a husband. That's a big task.
Yeah. Yeah. And it doesn't always sound appealing.
No.
Yeah. I love it. Anything else that you would want to share with guys? Anything we didn't cover or anything?
No, I think we got through a lot there.
It all. Yeah, I love it. Well, we'll do a little name-a-rama here. I'll start us off. Brandon Flehardy, 39, The Pflug.
The Pflug. Jake Pflug, 35, Flow.
And we got to come up with, do you have a...
We don't have one.
We don't have one. Okay.
I don't know.
I sell insurance, but you don't. That's the irony of it.
No.
I love it. Thanks, man.
But
appreciate it.
Thank you.
On our hands, hope in our chest. We're not defined by the weight of the test. Brothers in step, we carry the flame. Different roads, but the heart beats the same. Every man's got a story to tell. From the valley low to the mountaintop, yeah. Every man's got a story inside. Standing strong, we won't hide. Every man, every man's got a story. We've been broken, we've been bruised, but we rise again and we don't get to choose. Through the fire, through the fight, every man's story burns in the night. Scars on our hands, hope in our chest. We're not defined by the weight of the test. Brothers in step, we carry the flame. Different roads, but the heart beats the same. On a story to tell, from the valley low to the mountaintop yell. Every man's got a story inside. Different roads, but the heart beats the same. Every man's got a story to tell. From the valley low to the mountaintop, yeah. Every man's got a story inside. Standing strong, we won't hide. Every man, every man's got a story. Every man's got a story. Voices rise like thunder, they roll. Truth in the pain, it's shaping the soul. Chains may rattle, but they break in time. Every man's story is yours and mine. From the struggle to the glory, every man's got a story. In the dark or in the light, we keep marching through the night. Every man's got a story inside. Every man's got a story to tell. From the valley low to the mountaintop hill. Every man to the mountaintop hill. Every man's got a story inside. Standing strong, we won't hide. Every